It's hard to call it a shortcake when it's over 8 inches tall. But whatever you call it, it's delicious. Now we're going to start by making a sponge cake. And if you haven't already, you want to check out our video on making a genoise. Genoise is the preferred recipe for this type of application because it holds up to the moisture of fresh berries, whipped cream, and simple syrup without falling apart. So we'll scale the sheet to about 8 by 12 inches, and this gives us a cake that's about 1 inch thick. And we're going to punch it out with a 3-inch cutter and then cut those in half, which gives us 1/2 inch thick discs. Next, we're going to make a stabilized whipped cream. Now, in commercial bakeries, we use what is referred to as manufacturing cream. It's simply heavy cream with a higher fat content of about 40% milk fat. Now, you usually aren't going to find that in your local market, so we'll stabilize it using gelatin. For a recipe using 1 cup of cream, we use 1 tablespoon of melted gelatin, and we whip it until a stiff peaks form. It usually takes about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, the reason we use stabilized whipped cream is we don't want it to melt. I mean, you could put this in the refrigerator and 2 or 3 days later, it still looks like it just came out of the mixer. Regular whipped cream just turns back into liquid. So once that's done, we'll fit a pastry bag with a star tip and then fill it with our cream. Next on the prep list, we'll clean and cut our fresh strawberries. We want them about 1/4 of an inch thick, cut lengthwise. Now, I gotta tell you, one of my pet peeves is when I see people knock off the top of a strawberry like this. They leave a good portion of the top for the trash bin. To get the best yield from your berries, place the tip of a paring knife underneath the stem, then press your thumb on top and just pop it off without even cutting it. Now look at the difference of how much you save. Now we're going to want to create some forms to mold our cakes. I'm using a roll of 6-inch acetate and cutting it to the same size as the cutter that we use to punch out our cakes. And then we'll secure it with a piece of tape. And for now, the fun part, assembling our towers. We'll start by placing the first cake disc in the bottom in the mold and then drizzle it with a little simple syrup. In bake shops, you might hear this referred to as soak. It's just sugar and water that's been heated up to the melting point. Of course, you can also flavor it with citrus zest or liqueur as well. Then we'll pipe a dollop of whipped cream in the center, leaving a small margin around the edges. If you put too much on there, the cream is going to squeeze out the sides. Then we'll lay our slices of strawberries on top of everything. One more dollop of whipped cream and our first layer is done. Now we're going to repeat the process 2 more times. And now you can see why we use the genoise sponge cake recipe. With all the moist goodness in there, it won't disintegrate. On the top layer, we'll get a few rows of cream to completely cover the top. Done with all our cakes, then we'll move them to the refrigerator and let them set while we prep our plates. Now these next components are totally optional. I mean, you can serve the cakes just as they are and they'll be great. Or you can plus it up by adding 1 or more of the following. It's really up to you. I like to cover my plates with plastic wrap, which helps to keep the edges clean while I'm garnishing them. I've cut a stencil out of a piece of cardstock with a design that I'll use to dust my plates with strawberry powder. Now, this is 100% strawberries. Don't use anything artificial. And we'll put just enough on the plate to complement the fresh berry flavor. Next, we're going to temper some white chocolate and pipe it out onto the plates to use as a dam for our sauces. We've made some apricot and strawberry sauces that we're going to sauce the plate with. Now, the apricot is just a small line because we want it to complement the strawberries. But then, of course, our strawberry sauce, we can use a little bit more. We'll be a little more generous because that's the theme of the dessert. And the good thing about picking your own berries is we were able to save some of the smaller ones with the stems on the top. We've also made some sesame pralines to top it all off.